Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Surge. This one I call it Needs and Wants, Same Lie, Different Costume. What do I mean by that? There's a comment somebody made in one of the videos which says, "We are biological creatures. It is not right to deny our needs and wants. The only challenge is there is a fine line between the needs and wants." Okay, first of all, what these videos are pointing to is the fact that we simply are. Not this seeming character which we refer to as a biological creature. What we are in essence is the ever-present, undeniable beingness which is prior to this whole seeming experience. Now, while we seem to have this seeming human experience, we are not denying the body or who we appear to be, because as there's a line in the Course in Miracles that says, those who deny their body, they're engaging in a particularly unworthy form of denial. So we're not denying our seeming human experience, but we're recognizing the nature of our being, in which at least the psychological suffering is completely eradicated. Now, I'm going to address this idea of needs and wants and talking about a seeming fine line, because the way I see it, needs and wants are mutually exclusive. It's not a fine line in between, and you cannot deny needs, and it's not about denying wants. Let me explain. A need is biological, a want is psychological. In other words, you cannot live without a need being met, but you can live without any wants being met. For example, you cannot live without breathing. You have to breathe, you need oxygen. That's a need. Without it, you die. You cannot live without proper shelter. If you're left outside in the different seasons, you will die. You cannot live without having to go to the restroom or bathroom, to let go of the debris. So all these things are needs, and you cannot deny them. Without them, you simply die. End of story. I could say you cannot live without food or eating, but there's people who supposedly they live without having to eat anything, and because I'm respecting that, I don't want to get into any kind of argument about it. All I'm saying is that a need is something you cannot live without. Now, wants are all psychological, and you can live without wants without any problem. The thing is that the mind may confuse itself, thinking that if it doesn't have something that it wants, it would die. For example, you take a drug addict, for example, and that person would suggest or assumes or believes that if he or she does not have the drug, he would die. You see? That's sort of like an association in the brain or so. And yet, when you take them to a rehabilitation program, and they put them in a room where they strip them away from all the drugs, they have to go through an experience that to them it appears as if they're dying. The withdrawal symptoms and everything. But once they pass through that, they don't die. So you see, it's not something they needed, although they thought they needed it. It's just something they wanted. You see? So we want to clarify that needs or wants, there's not a fine line. They're just completely mutually exclusive. And needs you cannot deny, and wants, whether you deny them or not, it's irrelevant, because you can live without them. That's why there's a quote in the Bible that says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." In other words, for me, it's like saying that when you hang on to truth, when you know who you are, then you shall not want. All the wants can be seen for what they are. Once you know the truth of who you really are, then what could you possibly want? Does that mean that if wants or desires happen that they are to be denied? No. What it means is that they can be seen through. I can have the desire to do things, but I'm here, present, and I'm just being. And if that desire has to manifest for whatever the reason is, I see how life naturally moved this instrument to go in that direction. But that is a very organic movement. It does not come from a place of the belief that I would need it, you know. It comes from the natural organic experience of expression. But nothing is done because I think I'm going to derive something from it. I'm already fulfilled. What would this world could offer me? You see, when I'm already plenty, when I'm whole, when I'm fulfilled. So when you know who you are, now you live in that experience of fulfillment no matter what. And yet you do things in the world of appearances, and some of them don't. Some of them may appear as things that you may want to do. Hey, I would like to buy a sailboat, for example, but I don't need it. It's not something important, but I notice that there's an affinity to say, God, I would like to have a sailboat. And then if that is very strong through you, you notice how life moves you to follow that direction. But it's not important, you see. In my case, I see how I write music. There's a song that I'm almost finishing. In one of the videos, I'll put it as you can see, which is the song I've been talking about. It's not a need, it's not important, it's just something that it's a way of expression that this body is used to carry. That's all, no big deal. But I am, you see, and this is where these videos are pointing to. Now let's talk about another aspect of this question or this comment. Because we're not the doers. It's not that I can suppress feelings or not. It's that if I am meant to suppress the feelings, they will be suppressed. And if I am not meant to suppress them, they will not be suppressed. That's the paradox. Because I am not the one in charge of the destiny of this instrument. I am an instrument. An instrument is being played by whatever is playing the instrument. In this case, life would be playing the instrument. So whatever I'm destined to do, Nisargadatta Mahara used to say, this body is destined to do, or it will live according to its destiny, but I remain as I am. These videos are pointing to the remaining as I am, not about the destiny or what the body wants or doesn't want. You see? Now, the question that always arises, and I have to address it, is that mean that if I am meant to be a bad person or a sufferer or something, there's nothing I can do about it? I always say the same thing. If life is now inspiring you to listen to this kind of information, then don't bother with those assumptions. It doesn't matter. Maybe in the past you did suffer. Okay, that was part of the journey you had to go through, but everything led you to where you are right now. So now you can rest in the fact that life is leading you to information about getting to know who you are, so the seed is being planted. Now you trust the unfolding of things. So once again, the fact that you know that you're not the doer gets rid of all the guilt, because right now you may say, I wish I haven't done what I did in the past, and you feel guilty about it. Well, this information doesn't make you responsible. It takes away the burden of realizing that you didn't do anything. Life is done through you. Okay? So right now, you are where you are. You are being what you're supposed to be in this particular moment, and now the information of the recognition that you are is there too. So there's no need to feel guilty about anything. And now the ones, if they show up, you either find yourself moving in that direction or you don't, but you know that you are, and that's what you remain as. This is what these videos are pointing to. I just wanted to address this particular comment because, I mean, the inspiration came through, and I thought it was interesting to address it. But in the end, it's not about the wants or the needs, because they're both are two lies that belongs to the seeming character, to the costume that we seem to be wearing. But what we are is not the costume, is not the character. We simply are. That's where the videos are pointing to. Right now, the fact that you are being is all that is true. Everything else is just being colored, you see. You simply are. You cannot negate the fact that you are. It's just pure beingness. That's all there is to it. And in beingness, which is what you are, thoughts do appear, desires may appear, sensations may appear, and they can be seen through consequently, you're not distracted by wants or needs. The needs will be met automatically by the divine intelligence that moves the body. If you need shelter, you'll find yourself looking for shelter. If you're hungry, you'll find yourself wanting to eat. If you are if you're somebody try to push you underneath the water, believe me, you'll fight with every strength that you can possibly have to try to put yourself above water so you can breathe. So it's all that happens organically. If you need to go to the bathroom, trust me, you will go to the bathroom. And if there's not a bathroom, you will do it in your pants, but it will happen. So you don't have to worry about the needs. The needs, the life takes care of them anyhow. What you have to look is how the mind wants to turn wants into needs, you see. And you're looking at that. So the way I live life is very simple. This is where I am, this is what I have, this is what it is, and that's it. And even if I want something, is it right now happening? No. If it's not happening, then I'm not supposed to have it. And if I'm supposed to do something about it, I see how life very organically moves me to do something about it. But while something is being done about it, there's already a recognition that whatever it is that I think I want has nothing that can offer me to complete me. It's just simply a part of the movement of this character in this world of appearances. Any book that I write means nothing. Any song that I write means nothing. Any video that I make means nothing. Anything that I do in this world means nothing. I simply am. Meanwhile, I'm just enjoying the show, watching the play unfolding. Wake up in the morning, the curtains go up, the play begins. I go to bed at night, the curtains go down. I don't know if the play will continue until I wake up the next morning, and then the play continues. But it continues with a mentality that is not of the world, and this is the invitation with these videos, you see. And now you don't get caught up into these ideas of wanting or needs or whatever, shoulds or shouldn'ts. You simply rest in beingness, which is what you are, which is the peace that surpasses all understanding, and consequently, you are happy. You live happily ever after. Well, this is inspiration that came through. I hope it served. And as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.